Gold jacket, green jacket, who gives you?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Gold Jacket, Green Jacket podcast. We are here for episode number 26. My name is Christian Dragonetti. We are proudly supported by Halfcaf Golf, as always. And joining me this week is Australian PGA professional, Mr. Joel Mitchell. Joel, how you doing, mate?
Brilliant, brilliant. I was actually thought it was episode 27 earlier.
No.
Genuine when I sat down. I'm like, 27, wow. I'm like, 26, I'm like, fuck. You know, I can't even keep up.
You're a week ahead, mate. That's
Yeah.
right. Just save those thoughts for next week.
Yeah, facts.
That's it.
Now-
How's things?
Good now.
Good now?
For anyone viewing today,
Yeah, if for audio listeners,
I've got a prop, basically.
he's got a little-
That's all
got
I
a
can
little
actually
hand puppet.
look at the moment. So for anyone listening, well, you obviously can't see it, but for any viewers, you obviously can. So if you are listening and you're curious, just quickly jump on the video just at the start when you see it, and you'll be able to see my beautiful fucking specimen right
your
now.
new addition.
Yeah, so I love my putters, and all the boys that I work with love our limited shit.
Absolutely.
As you can probably tell. So I did currently have a limited putter that I was using. That is my pride and joy.
Yep.
And then this has come along. And
That's come along.
I've been told by the rep it's a Cam Smith replica. So apparently it's the same design and everything got to do with his style of putter. But just it's got a couple of different badges on it. But
Yeah, nice.
I gamed it Sunday, so we'll just go straight into
Recent rounds. May as well.
So the first time I took it out of the plastic Sunday morning
Okay.
and hit 3 putts with it, going, right. Right. Hit 3 putts with it. Went out, and I'm gonna be honest. My first 7 holes couldn't really find it because yes, it's the same style of putter as mine.
But it is different.
It's slightly thinner, but it's half an inch longer. It's slightly weighted differently. The face is a bit firmer.
It's different.
It's just a slightly different putter. It's going
to take a bit to get used
It's like
to.
getting a new car. It's still a car.
It's like getting
But-
into your car again after you've left it for a service and they're fucked with the seat.
Yeah,
It's
facts.
different.
It's different, but it's like,
It's the same
okay,
car.
just quickly adjust it. Beautiful. It's the same again. Right?
Exactly.
Anyway, so first 7 holes, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm like, I'm just going to use this round to figure out speed and how it comes off and blah, blah, blah. And then like I told you earlier, I rolled in a putt on 8 and I'm like, there it is. So I was even through 7 and then I was 7 under for my next 11. So I had 64 off the stick, which was 38 points off plus 5, which still didn't even get a spot in A grade, which was awesome.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I literally the only
Oh, yeah, 38 points, yeah.
yeah 38 doesn't even get a sniff.
Doesn't get a
I think
sniff.
42 and 40 won it, but anyway.
And we've discussed, and just on that, we've discussed that with Michael when he was in here.
Yeah.
About just
Yeah.
how difficult it is to
Yeah.
win competitions
Which-
at any standard.
Which I feel
but
like
especially the lower you get,
Yeah.
and being off plus 5 to have 38 points, he shot 64.
Yeah.
But that is weighted not nearly as good as old mate who's had 42 points playing off 11.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's like I said, I'm not aiming to win comps or anything. I'm just trying to shoot the best score if possible. And if it's
But
up
it's
the top of the leaderboard,
it's nice.
Beautiful. But yeah, so that's my new addition, and I'm extremely excited because I've got a lot more new shit still coming that I explained last week. So yeah, that's my most recent round. Ball striking was fucking awesome.
Yep.
Fuck, I hit the ball good, which I was really stoked with. And yeah, through 7, I'm like, I just need this thing to fire up.
Yeah, right.
If I can get this thing warm, we're off. And then, yeah, like I showed you my back 9 earlier. I birdied 12 through to 15 and then birdied 17 as well.
Jeez. It's
To take it low in the back 9, which was nice.
it's there,
Which
isn't
is
it?
nice. Oh, it's absolutely. The game's there because I've been practicing the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, man.
Last 2 weeks, I've found a bit of form and, got the swing going. Ball striking's awesome and the putter's rolling good. So
That's
can't
it.
complain.
That's it. Very good.
And you?
My most recent round was Sunday. I also got out on Saturday, which is a rarity for me. But
Yep.
although I was saying that, the last 2 weekends I've got out both days.
Yeah. Yeah.
I won't touch too much on Saturday.
We'll let's leave that behind us.
We'll leave that
was
behind us.
A moment.
It was, look, both days had a couple of things in common. I did hit the ball pretty well. Mm-hmm. I made lots of mistakes on Saturday, which caused me to go into an absolute
I'm
dive.
not going to lie to you. It is probably the lowest I've ever seen you.
It was, honestly, it was rock bottom.
Yeah.
It was rock bottom. I was talking about, and I'm going to be completely open and honest with everyone. I was talking about giving this up, right? I was talking about giving the sport up altogether.
he was in
It is the
shambles.
closest I've ever come to actually putting the clubs on marketplace to sell. I was done. I literally said to the missus, I'd rather go and learn how to fight so that I could get punched in the head because maybe that'll hurt less. than going out and having the. And you know what?
I can't laugh,
Mate,
but
it was
I
a stroke
should.
round, and I had the equivalent of 34 points.
Yeah, because like I told you, you had those 3 holes that were massive.
Correct.
And then the rest of it, I'm like, dude, you're one
It's so
over.
solid.
You were 1 over.
Yeah, exactly.
Other than those 3 holes.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sit here and be sad.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like,
Legit.
right, I'll leave you to it. I'm like, and then when you sent that text going, dude, I think I just need a break from the pod. I'm really having I'm not good. This is not good, right? And then you text me later that day going, what's plans tomorrow? I'm like, why? And you're like, oh, there's a spot at 9:30. I'm like, this bloke. I'm like, fuck's sake. And then when, and then we were on the phone. I'm like, nah, you're not ditching me on this pod now.
God,
no way.
God, no. And that, honestly, I'm a catastrophizer at the best of times.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, when things go wrong, I'm just like, you know what? It's over. May as well just call it now, right? But honestly, looking at the first thing I did after I calmed myself down on Saturday afternoon was look at the timesheet for Sunday. I'm not even joking, because the missus turns around. She was going to go do a couple of things in the morning. So she's like, I'm out of the house all morning. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to go waste a half decent day of like weather. May as well go play golf. Right. And then honestly, it was the easiest thing I've ever done, was just book in. Yep. 7:30 off the 10th. No dramas. Let's go. And I was like, okay, now I feel a little bit better.
Yeah, and you get to the golf course. You get to the golf course on that Sunday morning, and no less than 12 hours ago, your clubs were almost sold.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. They were nearly I nearly threw them in the river, like gone. But rock up on Sunday, and the thought process was right. And I purposely booked myself in with 2 or 3 guys I'd never heard of before. Purposely. Because I'm like, if there's ever a day, and this is not the way I normally am on the golf course, if there's ever a day to not be as sociable as I normally am, it's today.
Yeah,
I
to
want to
just-
sit in my corner, hit my ball, and not talk to anyone
do
and
you.
work out my shit.
Just do you.
Right?
Yeah.
And I did that, and unfortunately for me, the guys I played with were one of them pulled out, but 2 of the most lovely blokes I've met at the golf course, really good guys, good golfers, 6 and 12, I think they played off. It's irrelevant. And we had an awesome day.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
I hit the ball better, hit the ball just as good as I did the day before.
Yeah.
I didn't make nearly as many mistakes, couldn't hit a putt to save myself, but hey, I'd rather have a bad day on the greens and everything else works than have a good day on the
Just
greens,
skunk it.
have a good day off the tee, but then like my wedges, for example, which was really poor on Saturday, is just as bad the next day.
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
So I hit everything better, just had a bad day on the greens. And I can honestly live with that till the day I die.
Were your wedges better on Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay, so that
Didn't have that many
actually,
opportunities.
That relates to.
I didn't have that
a bit of work we did. Oh, yeah, okay. So your ball striking with irons were mint.
Mint.
So you didn't actually have to.
Didn't have to, but like I maybe hit, and we'll get to what we've done recently.
Yeah.
I might have hit maybe a dozen shots with wedges, like where it was stuff that we've worked on at most.
At most, yeah.
And I was like, but all of them were executed pretty okay.
Pretty all right, yeah.
And I was
Better.
I was
Better.
100%.
Yeah. Progress.
Sorry?
Progress.
Progress. 100%.
Hashtag progression.
Exactly right. And while we're on the topic, I want to give a couple of shout outs if we're there. Firstly, to our mate Daniel Rim.
Yes.
Daniel's a mate of yours who I met through you and stuff. If you're a member at Rosanna, you might know Daniel pretty well. He reached out to me after last week's pod and just sort of said, mate, what's going on? Talk to me. And we're of a similar sort of skill level and handicap and all that kind of stuff at the moment. Yeah. And he basically turned around and we made a pact with each other just to sort of keep each other accountable. Make sure that we are going out to practice.
Oh, good.
Make sure that we are sort of in a good headspace and, we're making positive changes and, positive progressions to the game.
Yeah.
So, Daniel, thanks for that, man, because honestly, it's been really good the last sort of week just to have him. And honestly, I didn't really expect it from him in that sense. He was probably not on the top of my list of people I'd expect that from.
Yeah.
But he's done it nonetheless, and I'm really grateful for it because it's just given me an outlet to sort of go, hey, man, like, this was so much better today.
Yeah, facts. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's
facts.
not you.
You already do it to me, but
I do it to you heaps. I got the boys I play with every week. It's just someone who I don't really play a lot of golf with.
you don't see often.
Don't see him that often.
Yeah.
But like now he's talking about like trying to get together to practice a bit more together and all this kind of shit. It's exactly what I kind of need.
Yeah, exactly.
I
You need someone to kick you up the ass.
Correct.
Besides me, because
Correct.
you tell me to get stuffed often.
100%.
I'm like, come on, we're going to do this. Nah.
And the second shout out is to my mate Mitch, who I play with every week. Finally jumped me.
So
I
You
mentioned
always
this.
tore his head off.
Oh,
too.
yeah, 100%.
You always tore his head off.
So Mitch had, if you'd listened to recent episodes, I mentioned it recently that he's sort of getting close because I'd spotted it. And little did I know that he'd spotted it 2 months before it even happened. Right? So he's had it on his radar of like, hey, he's catchable here. And he's made it a goal of his to get me. And that's all well and good.
Yeah.
But after the round I had on Saturday and the mental state I was in, he decided that on the 18th green after we've shaken hands, that was the perfect time to tell me that it had happened. And I was like, you really think I want to hear about it now, dickhead?
Yeah,
like,
smack.
thanks very much, mate.
Yeah.
Like, I was just...
Car park now.
100%. Like, but I love him. He's done really, really well. And if that's a goal that he's set out to catch me, I'm glad he's done it.
You've mentioned that as well. You sort of... You were the low marker of the three of you.
100%.
And... At heart, you still are.
I think
At
so.
heart.
I think so.
At heart. Well, from
Current-
based off, current
Current form
circumstances.
says otherwise, but look,
Yeah.
Mitch has done a mountain of work to get to the position he's in at the moment. He's playing some really, really solid golf. He deserves to be an A-grade golfer, 100%. Deserves to be off the number he's there. Got some flaws in his game. He'll own up to that too, but mate, you got to pump him up.
Gotta
You
credit
got to
it.
pump up your mates
Credit
while
where
they're
credit's
there.
due.
Credit where credit's due, 100%.
100%,
And it just so happens that it was at my expense and I wanted to kill him at the time. But you know what? Hey, it's all over now. I can't, like, now, Mitch, you're in fucking trouble, dude. Because I'm coming. I don't care. You've set the target now, and the target is painted a lot brighter on your back than it ever was on mine.
Yeah.
So you're in trouble, brother.
Oh, there we go.
Here we go.
Are you not entertained?
Weeks. I'm giving it weeks.
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 How far in front is he?
Sorry?
How far in front of you?
A shot and a half.
Oh, it's 3 rounds.
3 rounds. So
The,
weeks.
Yeah. Facts.
I'd like to say before the end of the football season, but I'm not going to. I'm going to give myself a little bit more time.
Yeah, because
Anyway.
I don't want to say at the end of the footy season because Carlton's might not last that much longer.
No, go the Pies. We're coming as well. Anyway.
Fuck you, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck you and you're stupid. Anyway,
That's
go
a
into
whole
that.
nother podcast.
Let's not go into that. That's a gold jacket after dark sort of shit.
Correct. So you mentioned a couple of minutes ago that we'd been doing a little bit of work, the two of us,
So you reached out. So
about 2 weeks ago now.
not reached out. It was at the topic of. You said it actually before last week's episode, I reckon, or even the week before, where you're just like, right, I need some help.
Something's wrong here.
Which was good. You noticed there was something wrong. Going, I can't do this myself, sort of thing. And I'm like, okay, what do you need me to do? Do we just go out and play holes and just talk through it, or are we actually having a session? And you're like, no, we need 40 minutes of you in my ear. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So I didn't want it to be like, it was a pretty good session, I guess. It was a
great session,
like a half an hour to 40 minutes.
It was 2 hours, bro.
Was it 2 hours?
It was 2 hours.
Fuck.
We started at 1:30. I got there at 1, right? By the time you guys had finished smashing the Maccas I picked up for you, by the time you'd finished all that, we got to the back of 15 at Rosanna at 1:30, and we started playing holes at 3:30.
Jesus, I didn't think it was that long.
We were there for ages.
You were...
And I wanted that. I wanted to feel like, and again, like you're awesome in the sense that you haven't charged me for that lesson, but I wanted to feel like it was a lesson I was paying for.
Yeah, so it was like I was invested in it too. I wanted to see improvement. I wanted you to implement things that were uncomfortable, which is how a lesson works. You can't implement something and then straight afterwards go, yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
it's not how it works. You got to make changes to then see improvement, even if you go a step backwards, which is what you saw Saturday. Which when you called me, you're going, bro, none of your shit works. I'm like, you played once, right? And then on Sunday, improvement. Next week, there's going to be even better. So
100%.
Hopefully it just progresses to the point where, we play with you and you look at a normal little chip shot and there's just no fear. You just knock it. You just try and hole it. That's what I try and do. Whenever I have a wedge, I'm trying to hole it. Right? That's the sort of confidence I really try and have with a wedge. And that's what I wanted to sort of really make your game. Like I wanted that to be really pronounced in your game.
100%.
Is instead of going, okay, just don't flub it or just don't knife it. No, let's try and hole it.
Yeah,
let's see if we can hole it.
Let's attack.
Right?
Let's take advantage.
And I'm not going to lie, at the start, I'm like, yeah, this is just Drags' little short game. You hit a cut, you hit 3 good ones, and then you hit 1 knife, one flub out of 5. Right? 1's nice and tight, 2 are, and then there's 2 just completely fucking falling over. Right? And then by the end of it, you'd hit 1 miss hit that might just not be outside 12 feet. And the rest, you actually got really sort of aggressive with it at the end. And I'm like, fuck, okay, Jesus.
Picked it up.
Like you picked it up really quick. And there was visually, It wasn't very big changes.
No.
It wasn't. But feel based, massive.
I may as well be swinging it. It feels like I'm swinging it left-handed.
Yeah, that's what
It's
it would have
so
felt like.
different.
Because it was like different ball position, different way to use your hands through that ball. The connection's different. The flight is different. The spin rate's different. And it all is. But visually, it's like, oh, all he did was sort of move forward a little bit. That's what it looks like. But it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah,
that's why feel versus real is so different. But
100%.
the session was really good because I'm like, okay, well, there's things here that he can concentrate on, essentially. And out of the bunker was good when you said you hold out on
on two on Saturday, like doing exactly what you told
I'm
me.
like, man.
I haven't hold out from a bunker in 4 years.
Yeah, well, it's
I'm not even
good.
joking.
It's good, and like you would have hit that bunker shot perfectly.
100%.
It would have been mint.
It flew out nice. I was doing exactly what you told me and standing exactly the way you said.
Yeah.
I made great contact. It flew out nice and high.
Yeah.
Landed
Bits-
dead.
yeah.
And just like a
trickled
bit
in.
spinny. It didn't like skid forward. It sort of bounced and just trickled out
Gorgeous,
nicely
gorgeous.
along the line. And one of
Hell.
the boys said before it even hit the hole, he's like, "That's close."
That's good. Yeah.
And then-
well, good. Even if you went in another 3 bunkers for the rest
the
of the
next
day,
one I toe shanked.
well, there you go. It's
Literally on the next hole.
It's literally a gamble when you're trying something new.
100%.
It's a complete gamble. When I was trying to, so I went through a phase where I was hitting real savage draws, and I hit natural sort of little draw anyway. It's gotten a lot finer now. I often sometimes hit cuts and hit a bit more of a straight ball, but a natural shot is just the tiniest draw. But I used to hit savage draws because I used to flip my hands a lot, trying to get extra distance out of it. Right, so I used to hit savage draws, and I wanted that out of my game, where that big sort of pull it online and then hooks.
Yeah, the big
But
boomer.
that was a big sort of boomerang, fucking massive miss, and it affected me when I wasn't swinging good.
100%.
Because I couldn't straighten it up. It was just how my swing worked. So I went and saw a coach, and he got me into positions that I really, really, really didn't like.
Yeah.
It was just extremely uncomfortable, and I'm like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be able to do it. Like, I'm not going to be able to do this on the golf course because I'm going to miss it. And yeah, in the session, everything seems to work. It does. Like you're a bit more free. There's no consequences when you're in a lesson or on the range or anything like that. So whatever you implement seems to work pretty well, and especially because you're hitting repetitive balls. Whereas when you're playing around, if you try and implement that, a puff-nth has to be wrong for it to go wrong.
100%.
You know what I mean? Whereas on the range, that can go wrong, and then you hit another 3 good ones. But on the course, that can't happen. So when I did that, I went out and played 2 days later with this sort of new implemented feeling. I got comfy with it, and I had the shanks. I had the shanks for 3 rounds.
Yeah, right.
After that, because I'm like, I can't do this. And I tried to go back to my normal swing. Everything was out. I'm like, nah, restart. So I fixed it myself, and I'm just like, nah, this change doesn't work for me. Which I found after too long. Basically, it took me a month to sort of go, I actually can't do this. My swing won't let me do it. So it's good that there's already been progression on your end from that.
Yeah, well, and that's exactly right. Funnily enough, I was actually chatting to Daniel this afternoon on the drive home from work, and I said it to him as well that like what I needed out of the lesson that I had with you was to build like a foundation to like start my short game on.
It was almost to prove to yourself that you actually you do have a short game.
Correct.
I just need to dig it out of you.
But like when all else fails with things and it doesn't go right, you can always fall back on something,
Yeah, get comfy.
right? With my short game, I didn't have that thing to fall back on.
Yeah.
Now with your stuff that you've shown me last week, I finally feel like, all right, well, I know this works.
Yeah.
So if I, and you told me as well, take this and just morph it into what you feel comfortable doing.
Exactly. Get
and
comfy.
get creative with it and just start fucking around with it,
Yeah.
right?
Start getting feels.
But if that starts going awry and astray, and I'm, not really doing that well with it, I can just go, all right, well, fuck that.
Let's dial
strip it back to what Joel originally taught me and we'll start again.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what a coach or someone that puts you on the right path is for. A coach will not fix your game. They won't.
No.
They will just give you everything you need. They will just give you the ingredients. You just got to bake the cake.
100%.
That's literally all it is. They're
It's
going
all
to
it
give
is.
you everything you need and all the knowledge you need. Right. Off you go. They're
Yeah.
not going to cook it for you. Like, that's exactly what I did.
Love
I'm
it.
like, you've got to do this. This is how it's going to feel. Might feel shit. The better you get with it, the nicer it's going to feel because you know
100%.
it works. And you even saw some of the flights that you're hitting is like, oh.
Yeah.
Instead of it was coming out sort of lower and spinny.
The thing that really took me by surprise was a lot of the work we did was sort of like, it was like a 35, 40 meter shot. And you had me with 52, like a gap wedge in my hand. And I wouldn't
lower
dare.
lofted club.
Like before that lesson, I wouldn't dare think about hitting that club that far. Don't have the swing for it. Don't understand. I don't know where my hands need to go to hit it that far.
Biomechanics aren't there.
100%. The feel's not there.
Yeah, exactly.
The understanding is not there. And the way you show me how to hit it and all that kind of stuff, and maybe we might do a video where we could almost like recreate that lesson and upload it.
Fuck
We could
it.
100%. Maybe do another follow up.
I like it.
Right? The way you had me hitting that ball and with that club, I was like, holy shit.
You didn't know it could do that.
100% no.
Yeah.
100% no.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And even got to the point where like I had a couple of instances on Saturday and Sunday where I tried it and it worked.
Yeah, beautiful.
It wasn't great,
Yeah, well, it's all
but
feel.
it was a lot better than what it would have been if I had tried to hit a 60 in that scenario or a 56.
Yeah, I feel like what clicked with you the most was when I was talking about landing zones. So me and Remy used to do a lot of sessions out on course, and I explained this to him as well. And the reason why you'll see a lot of pros or a lot of a low marker in particular, they flight everything in low or lower. So that's called that flighted shot, that low spinner sort of thing, which I love. That's my bread and butter, that sort of shit. I love flighting that ball in low, getting that sort of bigger bounce, skip, and I can sort of control it. If I need to flight it up higher, beautiful, I will. But you know, it makes that landing zone so much bigger. So if you do happen to catch one half a groove low where it comes out a bit knifey, it's still going to spin. You know, if you hit it high toey and it comes out a bit domey, well, it's going to fly further for you and it's going to stop quicker because it comes in higher.
A bit steeper, yeah.
It comes in a bit steeper. So it's sort of all I wanted for you was to get that landing zone 3 times as big by hitting a lower lofted club than trying to land a 60 degree on a spot.
Yeah.
Right. Just you know, give yourself that 12 foot or 10 foot of room or 10 foot circle to land this 52 to get it to skip up there rather than trying to land 60 at the hole and get it to stop. There's so much more room for error.
100%.
So it's just improving. Like, yeah, you're good. You're going to hit that 60 to a foot. You're good. That's if you pull the shot off. But it's going to be...
The room for error is so much greater doing it a different way.
There's a lot higher chance of you mishitting that shot or not landing it in the right spot.
100%.
It's so much harder.
That's honestly what I feel. And again, I spoke to Michael this morning, or this afternoon rather, and tried to organise a hit with him on Thursday night. He's unavailable. I'm still going to go. Like, and I said it to you. I said it to you on the lesson. I'm like, I want to go practice my short game now.
The second there's like you've been put on the right page, and then you see a tiny bit of progression.
Yeah.
All you need to see is one little result.
Yeah.
And you're fucking hooked.
Well, that's exactly right. And I've
hooked.
seen it. I play a lot of different games and sports, darts, pool, snooker, whatever. And as soon as I start to get it a little bit, I just want to just hammer it.
It's
and I just
addicting.
want to get it as much as I possibly can.
Facts. It's addicting.
And I feel the exact same way about that area of my golf game now, where I'm like, okay, I've been shown properly. I've got something to work on. Let's go master it as quickly as we possibly can.
You're losing the tiniest bit of, I wouldn't say you, you were losing a bit of interest. Let's say that.
100%.
Just purely because you were lost.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't fall for anything, figure this out.
No.
Like you might hit the odd real good one. You're like, oh, okay, that felt better. And then the next 6 tries at it, you try and do the same thing and it just doesn't work.
And that's the thing,
So
like,
it just needs that foundation.
Michael would keep busting my balls and go, like, we're going to go practice short game, we'll go practice putting. I'm like, what's the point? Like, it's not good.
You got nothing to work on.
I've got nothing to work on. It's bad. I'm only going to practice and make it worse. Or it's not going to get any better, even if I do practice it for 1,000 hours.
Yeah.
It's just going to be the same. There's no improvement. What's the fucking point?
Yeah, exactly.
Now I've got something to work on. And again, it's so broad what we're talking about. I could really get into specifics about everything you showed me. There's no fucking point. No. There might be a time that we do like a follow-up lesson and maybe get a camera out and record it and whack it on YouTube or TikTok, see what happens.
Might as well.
But mate, honestly, I'm so better off for it, and I appreciate the fuck out of you for doing it because, and it's not going to be the last one. 'Cause I'm going to hit you up again plenty of times.
Absolutely not.
I've said it before. You are now my fucking coach. I don't give a shit what
You
anyone
said
says.
at a Heritage on the range once, you were hitting these like push cuts and you couldn't get it going straight.
With driver.
I don't even know what I said for you to do.
I know exactly what you told me.
What was
You told me to stand about 4 mil closer to the ball.
Was it a 15th closer?
Yeah, a 15th closer to the ball, and just pause for a 15th at the top.
Oh, right.
And then all of a sudden, it was like, psh, psh,
yeah, he was hitting these. Last time we went to Heritage, you were hitting these push cuts, and you looked at me going, "I'm going to snap this fucking thing." And I'm like, "Oh, here we go again." Right. Right. Anyway, and he goes, "What am I doing? What am I doing?" I'm like, "Righto, hang on, just give us a look," because I don't.
You don't look at me.
I'm like, even if I'm playing with someone that has a swing from hell, I'm not looking at it going, "Oh, I'll change that. I'm just playing with them. I don't. I'm not looking out
It's
for
not
that.
your interest.
That's not what I'm looking for when I'm in a round. I'm looking for my ball, essentially.
And trying to look for theirs.
And trying to look for theirs because it's going fucking sideways, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, and yeah, you said, all right, what am I doing? I'm like, righto, let me concentrate. All right. So you hit a couple and I'm like, the swing looks good. The tempo's all right. You're getting into the right spot. And then I'm like, okay, then I had to look closer. So I looked at sort of the 4 main points of a golf swing, which I find is your hands, chest, hips, and feet.
Yeah.
So where's everything pointing? Your alignment was pretty good. Alignment was pretty good. It was all within that sort of range. It looked okay. And I'm like, okay, hands are forward of your chest. And I'm like, right, I just stand a bit closer. And that's really all it took. And then you nutted like 3 in a row. And then I'm like, just give yourself a tiny bit of space. Just feel like your swing's a bit longer. And yeah, you gave yourself that little bit of tempo and because you were quick on your transition.
Yeah.
So it was just
super quick.
It was just stand this much closer.
And honestly, it's
Give yourself some space, give yourself some time, and then hit it. And then hit it hard. And then you lace like 3 in a row straight. I'm like, oh, okay, there we go.
yeah. Well, and like I said before, it's that thing to fall back on. So in rounds since then, that was maybe a month or 2 ago.
That was a while ago.
At Heritage. And
Yeah.
in months since then, that's the on-course changes I'm making.
Yeah.
Because I'm starting to see that peely cut come in. I'm like, swing felt good, but why is it doing that? I'm like, oh.
You know why.
I'm like, Joel said this.
Yeah.
Go back and do it. And the next thing,
Yeah,
straight
you
down
lace
the
one.
guts.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
okay, there it is.
It's just a pathway. It's just a pathway. And I need the same thing. Often enough, like me and Marcus, all the time, we go hit balls or we're playing holes or something like that. And I might start hitting a tiny pull draw. I'm just looking at him going, swing feels good. Why is it doing that? Oh, the club face is here at impact, or you're a tiny bit across the line. Oh, okay, yeah, fuck, no shit. Right, the next round, if I hit a tiny pull draw, it's like, well, that felt good, but what did someone else see? And someone else
100%.
of a professional standard goes,
100%.
oh, he said this, it looked like this, it must be this, and change that feeling slightly, go straight. I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
like
dude.
even anyone needs that foundation.
100%.
Like you'd think, why do the top pros in the world need coaches when they're so good? Same thing. Their swing may feel great, but they're hitting push cuts. Why are they hitting push cuts? Well, have someone of that profession looking behind them going, you're doing this, Scotty, or you're doing this, Tiger.
I've mentioned it before, like going into or one of the majors, either after the US Open or the PGA. No, after the PGA, Rory was on his private jet and he literally just had the thought of, oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And then got up in the middle of in the aisle of his private jet and he's practicing his takeaway.
Yeah.
And he's like, I figured it out.
Yeah.
And then I think the next week he went and saw Butch Harmon and like got a lesson off him because he's like, I think he does that quite regularly.
Yeah, just to sort
Maybe
of
every year,
am I going crazy here?
Goes to see Butch every year and
is
just
this what it looks?
gets a tune up.
Yeah.
And then he works with his other coaches and stuff. But yeah, mate, honestly, I can't stress it enough. If you have issues in your game, no, it's not always you need new clubs. You don't need new clubs.
No, it's
because I
not.
don't need new clubs.
Nine
want new clubs.
9.9 times out of 10, it is not the equipment.
100%.
And if you do think that the club if you've seen other pros getting lessons and you still can't hit whatever you're using, then ask, is this right for me? Because if you're swinging it at 115 mile an hour and you've got a reg flex in your driver, no, it's not right for you at all.
No.
It's going to do some weird shit. So sometimes it can be the stick.
Sometimes, but not like you said, 90% of the time,
90% of the time, you just need to try slight tune up.
it's the idiot holding the club.
Yeah, it's not.
That's all it is. And that's all we are.
It's not the tool, it's the
Idiots.
tradie. It's,
100%.
That's usually how it is. Now, speaking of tools,
Speaking of tools,
my new tool
yep.
that's sitting in front of us.
Yeah.
Shut up. Shut up.
More like you are one. But anyway, continue.
I had a not a strange encounter. It was just I played with a junior on Sunday. Right. I love the kid. He's an awesome kid. He's got a great swing. Hits a great ball. You've played with him.
Yep. Good
So
man.
shout out little Ben. Ben. He's a junior golfer at Rosanna, and I think he's a member somewhere else. He's a member at a couple courses.
Hits it.
Hits it awesome.
Such a
Has
good
just a great swing. Like I said, he's only 15. He's got a lot of growing to do still. He's only a little kid.
I said that to you the other day when we played holes because after the lesson we played holes with Ben.
Yeah.
And on 2, I think he barely made the corner.
Yeah.
And I said he's got a lot of growing to do.
He just once he gets some
and
power
that's
behind
awesome
him
because
he's
the
got
potential that he's going to
Oh,
see
yeah.
in his
If-
game when he starts hitting that ball further and further.
if
every
he
week.
keeps his ball striking and that golf swing, he's laughing. Right. And yeah, he just needs to grow. That's all he needs to do. He just needs to get bigger and stronger and just, and he's
patient.
and like I don't consider myself I've gained length in the past probably I'd say 18 months, but I don't compared to some of the guys out there, I'm not a long hitter.
Yeah.
I'm not considered a big hitter.
Yeah.
Right. So like I said, I've explained this a lot. the closer I get to the green, the better I get. That's where I sort of pride myself on.
Yep.
But playing with him, he's hitting it 200, 210, 220 maybe at best. And I'm carrying it 40 past that and change. Right. So I'm 40 to 70 meters in front of him on occasions.
Yep.
And he's looking at it going, fucking, how do I do that? And I'm like, buddy, I was in the exact same spot as you
100%.
were when I was young. When I was 14, you're seeing these other guys hitting it fucking 60 past me going, oh, I'm never going to get there.
Yeah.
Right. And I sort of just said, mate, you just got to be patient. But he wanted this.
He wanted that putter.
He wanted the putter.
Yeah.
Right. And I explained to him what these sort of things can cost you.
Oh, yeah.
And especially a limited putter, especially something that is rare or, unique design of sorts.
Oh, yeah.
And what actual market value these things are. And for some people, they can't wrap their head around why it would cost so much or why it's so unique, because the putter. Why is it so expensive? It's just a putter.
It's just a Ferrari.
Exactly. It's just a car. No, it's not. It's a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Have you seen what's under the hood?
Yeah.
That's kind of what this thing is.
It's the same thing.
And when I was explaining to him some of the limiteds I have, some of the limiteds my coworkers have, and actually how much some stuff actually costs that you don't just see on a rack or in a pro shop or a Drummond or something like that, and how much more is out there to get, his head spun around, man.
Oh, and mine did when I
funniest thing.
first stumbled across it. And
It was the funniest thing.
mate,
So
it's
basically,
different.
the topic of this is for viewers that are listening as well. For listeners, they're probably going to be like, yeah, I think golf stuff is way overpriced. I think it's right in that sweet spot just purely because I'm exposed to it so much. I know what things are worth and what it's and why it's valued at something like that. I wanted to get your take.
Okay.
Do you think?
How long have you got?
So I know you're the sort that would be like, oh, I'm not spending that on that. You know what I mean?
No.
Within reason.
Within reason.
Within reason. So that the PLD you
It's
have.
the prime example of that, right?
Yeah.
And everything that I have in my bag at the moment, I thought, well, if before I went and bought it and got fit for those clubs and all that kind of stuff, I was definitely in that category of, well, I wouldn't spend $1,500 on driver 3 wood.
Yeah.
That's heaps of cash.
That's stupid. Yeah.
Why? No. Like
Yeah.
$1,000 max for both.
Yeah.
Surely.
Facts.
I wouldn't spend $750 on a putter.
No.
$800 on a putter. God, no.
Yeah. Why the fuck would you?
Why
do
would
that?
you do that?
No.
But it's quite literally a case of you get what you pay for.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And I'm still in that boat of, yeah, some things are a bit too expensive, but it also depends on what I'm looking for, right? Am I looking for a limited edition Scotty Cameron to put on the shelf and hold for 10 years and hand down as an heirloom to the family? Probably not, right? Because I can't stare at a putter for that long without at least hitting it once.
Yeah, wanting to hit it. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or taking it out for a round.
Yeah.
If you gave me a putter, for example, the one that's on the desk now, and said, keep this, I'm giving this to you. I've got too many. It's valued at 10 grand. It'll only go up by 2.5 grand every year, provided you don't hit it once.
You'd be like,
I'd be like, nah, I'm good, man. I'd be like,
okay.
nah.
Every time you hit it, it halves the value.
Correct. Like, I
It's-
wouldn't even go near it.
So-
Because I just want to go, okay,
It's a putter. Hit it.
let's go hit it.
Yeah, let's go hit it.
Right?
Yeah.
So I completely understand that whole mindset of certain things are too expensive. Do I think that golf equipment as a whole is too expensive? As a whole, 100%.
yeah, okay.
I think that if you're the average punter out there, average golfer playing off 18, which is the average handicap,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you're interested in a new driver, I think $1,000 for you might be too much.
Yeah.
Right? Do I think that there's a great market out there and there's also a great secondhand market out there that if you can get pretty close to what you think was going to work for you on the secondhand market for a third of the price, yeah, go do that, 100%. I think the secondhand market is just as good as the new market, if not better in some circumstances. But if you are strictly going new stuff, I think everything is way too expensive.
Here's my problem. So I've experienced almost every day I'm at work, I'd say, or almost every time I see something online or almost every time I'm at some other venue, I reckon I'm exposed to it at least once, right? Where someone will come in looking for the best of the best, but don't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
So they want premium, at bargain prices.
Yeah,
and
not
it's
gonna
just
get
like
it.
you're not going to get it.
They're
And
trying
you
to
put
find the diamond in the rough.
exactly,
literally.
which doesn't happen.
No.
It doesn't happen because one, businesses
Don't survive.
one don't survive, are too smart for you, and two, everything's priced accordingly.
Yeah,
Yes,
correct.
there's some wet weather gear. There's jackets out there for $500, and people are like, I can
Yeah.
find a wet weather jacket for $60.
On
It's like
Amazon.
It's,
Good
it's-
luck.
It's like awesome, but you're going to get cold. 9 times out of 10, it actually isn't waterproof.
Yeah.
The zips tear. It's not windproof.
You'll get 2 wears out of it.
It's
and
not thermal.
You get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for. It's a $60 jacket. But if you go pay $480 for a jacket, yeah, a lot of people would go, nah, fuck that. I want to find maybe a $150 one and settle at that.
And that's fine.
But you have to settle for exactly what you pay for. So it's the same thing with equipment like this. There is a couple stuff out there that I'm just like, what the fuck? Why?
Yeah.
Like, why? It doesn't need to be
And for the longest time,
that, because who would want that?
and I'm gonna name, not name and shame, but name drop. PXG for the longest time, up until recently, were the most expensive golf clubs you could buy.
Yeah.
When they first came onto the market, they were a small time sort of independent manufacturer run by a guy who just thought, well, all these clubs are shit, I'm going to make my own, and turned it into a business.
Yeah.
Right? And you could get iron sets for up to, I think, as much as $9,000, which is ridiculous.
I don't even know.
And the run of the mill was on the higher end of what you'd expect now. And this was 6, 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? And all the tour players that were playing, Wyndham Clark was one of them, right? Since recently gone to Titleist, came out and said, "It ain't that crash hot."
Yeah. It's not going
And
to give you
I've
much more.
never in my life hit anything with the name PXG on it. And I cannot say that I know from experience that it is good or bad. These are simply things that I've heard.
Yeah, you've read. Yeah. Or read.
Right? Or read.
I'm the same. I have no knowledge on that sort of brand. Like, I don't actually know what it.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't
don't-
know what's good or what's
I wouldn't know
bad.
the first thing involving
Correct.
why an iron would be 800 a piece.
I just know that story, and I know that it's
Yeah.
beyond
Yeah. See,
the realms of stupidity.
in that case, you can get it might be classed as premium. You might hit and go, whoa.
Yeah.
But is it worth that? That's probably no.
No.
But whereas you can get other premium stuff on the market. For example, I'm gonna speak like the T100s that I use and rave on about. They're top of the market. They're premium. They're the most used iron on tour.
Yep.
And they're amazing. And yeah, a lot of people go 300 a club, really?
Yeah.
Fucking serious for an iron? Yeah. And it's like, okay, but hit it. You know what I mean? But hit it.
Yeah.
You know, and
Experience it for yourself.
If you don't like it, go
drive the
something else.
Ferrari.
Yeah, exactly. Go
Drive the Ferrari.
Yeah,
and
if you
see
think
what happens.
if you think, oh, it's so expensive because of the badge. Okay, well, jump in.
Well, here's the thing, and I relay this back to my fitting experience with Dudsy a couple of years ago now when I got TSRs. Right? Now we got GTs and my TSRs are outdated. Doesn't mean I'm going to change it anytime soon. Right?
It's not even outdated.
Not
It's
even close. Went through the whole fitting experience with stock shafts and TSR 2 heads and all that kind of stuff, and it was great. And at the very last minute, I turned around to Dudsy and said, "Talk to me about premium shafts." And his eyes lit up, right? He's like, "Oh, thank God." Right? Because in the fitting, he just kept saying ball speed, ball speed, ball. He just kept he was almost, it's like he treated me like he'd never seen it before.
Yeah, okay.
And it was good salesmanship from his part, right? But also he knows what he's looking at.
Oh, of course.
I trust him very much.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? And especially more now.
and he's going to be
after that
100% honest with you as well.
Exactly. So I went into a premium shaft. I then bought the premium shaft, and it was a bit more expensive, yeah, but it was a price I was willing to pay because I saw it in front of me.
You saw the
The numbers were direct. It was like, this is the stock shaft that you had in it before, and this is the premium shaft, and this is how much better the premium shaft is.
Yeah.
Look at it for yourself. And Dudsy didn't even say anything.
No.
He just goes, there you go. You know the numbers. Look at it.
Yeah. It's on you now.
Figure it out.
It's on you. That's price.
Pick
That's
one.
price.
Pick one.
Yeah.
And then
How much does it mean to you, basically?
Correct.
How much does it mean to you?
And
That's
you know what?
Exactly
and
why.
I said it to myself at the time. I was like, you know what? I'm probably going to have this for a couple of years, if not longer.
Yeah.
This is going to be a build that can last me a long time.
What's
What's an extra $300-400?
What's $1,100 in 4 years when you've dropped handicap, you've fell in love with the thing.
You know what I mean? And
it's-
it gets to the point at sometimes where I literally break it down as to like, well, how much is it going to cost me if I hit it this many times?
Yeah, facts. Or how many? Yeah,
Because it's the same thing I do with my membership. My
I have it
membership
2
is,
years-
let's say it's $2,000 a year. If I play 52 weeks a year, every week of the year, at least once, this is how much it's going to cost per round.
Yeah, facts.
And if I play twice a week,
Yeah.
well, that's how much it's going to cost per round.
Yeah.
And it's just the more you play, the less it costs.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing with the driver.
Exactly.
It cost $1,000. I think it was $10.80 I paid.
Okay.
Right, for my TSR2 driver at the time.
Yeah.
All right, well then I play once a week, so per round I'm going to hit it. Let's say 10 times.
Yeah.
This is how much This is how much I'm
if you
spending
play,
per round to use that driver. If you turn it into like a novated lease on your car,
let's do it real quick right now, like off the top of our head. If you hit it 10 times per round and you play once a week for 48 weeks of the year.
Hold on, I'm getting the calculator.
Yeah,
up.
or that, right? Jesus, my head's spinning now.
Right. So you hit it what 10 times a week?
10 times around times 48. Let's do that.
Yep.
Just in case, because you might have 3 weeks where you don't play,
48.
or 4 weeks where you don't play.
That's 480 times. So if you divide
480 times.
1080 divided by 480, right?
What's that? $2 a shot.
$2.25 every time you hit it.
Yeah, every time you hit it. So that's broken down. And then if you
And then
play
if
more,
you-
but
if
if
you-
you have it for 2 years and you play twice a week,
It's $1.12.
it's
and a half.
less probably.
No,
Is it not?
it's $1.12 and a half.
There you go. And that's per time you hit it.
That's it. That's based on how, and then plus practice,
But that's plus practice, exactly.
and plus social rounds, and plus the golf trip that you have with the boys. And
But don't forget, that's usually like the minimum time someone has a driver.
correct.
So if you're someone that goes and buys a driver and then you're not touching it for 5 years and you play 3 times a week, that's cents per shot, cents. And you might have spent $1,000 on it, but what's $1,000 in 5 years?
You know who makes them? You know who makes the most money on their golf clubs? In the way that we've spoken and broken it up.
What?
Remember Neil Box?
Yeah, boxing. Yeah,
Bo-
facts.
So we got a member at the club, and
Heidelberg.
you might know him. Neil Box is his name.
6 days
Is
a
an
week.
absolute legend.
8 days a week.
Yeah, honestly, he's there 6 days a week.
Yeah.
I think he takes Tuesday or Thursday off, and every other day he's there.
Fuck.
So, and I think
man.
he bought a new set of irons a couple of years ago, and he's probably already made, based on our calculations,
Probably made money.
Yeah, 100%.
Because the amount of comps he's probably played, he's probably won enough to pay for them.
Well, the last time I spoke to him about it, I asked him how many rounds he played the previous year, and he said something like 289 rounds or something
Fucking
in a
crazy.
year.
No, it would be more than that.
No, because he had a
Oh, no, it
He
wouldn't
takes
be.
a bit
No,
of time off every
Yeah,
now
yeah.
and again.
Takes a couple
So I
months
think
off or
I think it was well and truly over 250 rounds for the year.
Fuck. That's
Well and truly over.
crazy.
Imagine going like on your GA page for
Yeah,
your handicap
yeah.
and going last 5 years.
Yeah.
He'd have fucking 4,500 rounds.
Yeah. He fucking would too. He fucking would too. The
But yeah, shout out Boxy.
my
He's a
point-
legend.
But like to conclude with that sort of topic, asking, do you think shit's overpriced, or I think after this point, it's going to get to the point where people stop buying stuff because there's $1,400 stock drivers, and people are going to be like, nah, I can't do it anymore, and maybe
The balance
production
in, the
companies-
balance in the market is far favoring the manufacturer.
Yeah.
And eventually it will balance.
Yeah, hopefully it does. Hopefully it does for your standard golfer, because you do see guys with 12-year-old irons going, I'm not spending $3,000 on new irons. I'm not doing it. Don't need it. These go okay now. These still go fine. And for what? Another 10 meters and a bit more accuracy? They don't really care that much, which is fair enough. But my main point with this was purely the prop I have here.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to revert back to this is a piece of equipment that if I told people the value of this, you'd probably fall off your chair. And I've got a couple at home. Like I said, my boss has 8 limiteds. He's filled his rack now, and that rack would be worth $50,000, I reckon.
Yeah.
Just in putters. And there's one that is insanely valuable. And then the other couple are just a few grand here and there. And Mark's my also co-worker, I think he has 6 limiteds now.
Yep.
Same thing. That'd be a $20,000 putter rack.
Yep.
And I've got one at home that's worth, in speaking USD, one of them's probably about 3. The other one's about 2. My one that's being refurbed now is 3.5 US. I've been doing the research on that. We're not sure yet. This is still very fresh. We're seeing what it does online now. But yeah, if I was to tell you the value of this, people would go just for a putter. Nah, your standard
100%.
stock Scotty is going to do the exact same thing. And my answer is no, it's not, because it has a tiny bit different feel. It has a different weight to it. It has a different length. It has a unique design. It's going to do something slightly different. And because it is a high-end premium quality piece of equipment. So yeah, it might do a tiny bit extra, just a tiny bit more than what a stock thing would do.
How much is that valued to you?
But that is worth it to me.
Yeah.
That is
And that's
100%
fair.
worth it. I've my other putter looks very similar to this. Very, very similar. But this is another step closer to the exact thing I
100%.
want.
100%.
And I'm willing to pay top dollar for that. It's just because of the position I'm in, whereas people won't. People will go,
All
I want
credit to you, man.
a $200 putter, just something to hit with.
I wouldn't ever dare to think of doing something like that.
Yeah.
However, I said that about driver 3-wood. I said that about my irons. Said that
100%.
about my PLD.
100%.
Where I'm at the moment, I want new wedges. They're on the horizon. Seeing the price of Vokies at the moment,
Yeah.
and I'm like, ugh.
But
I'm also just like, you're an idiot. You're going to buy them anyway.
You understand the value of them. Though.
Correct.
You understand what it's going to do for you. And
Correct.
not a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And if you did your research, you would know. And
My-
if you experienced it, you would know.
My thing is, and this leads so nicely into my question from the second
I'm
card.
going to let you go first because
Right.
you warned me.
My thing is about that is, how can I justify it to the missus?
A lot of people do. They come
Right.
in, they pay with cash, go and don't give me a receipt.
Yeah, or the old. I've heard of people asking for 2 receipts, so they go, right, make up a receipt for $150, and then give me the other one, the other $650 or whatever it is, and I'll just give the missus the $150 receipt.
You're going,
Yeah, $150.
Yeah, it was on sale. It was on sale.
No dramas.
It was on sale.
And
That's
that-
the best. That's funny as.
That leads me into my second cut question, which
Yeah.
is, right, if your partner was to let you put a simulator in your house, what would you have to do in return to make it even?
Propose.
Legit?
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah, probably.
Pop the question.
Yeah.
How you going?
I reckon that could get me not out of a lot of shit. I'm not in shit. But that would be a get out of jail free.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That would be
far out.
I'm thinking of getting this. And she goes, you don't need that. But what's on your hand? So, it's going to cost me even more fucking money.
It's a funny thing you say that because it's a conversation that Michael and I have been having
Like-
recently, and that is like, all right, well, we spend this money on engagement rings and
Yeah.
give them this ring just because
Yeah.
we love them,
Yeah.
right?
Just to show
However,
my commitment.
what am I getting?
What am I getting? in
I'm
return?
getting engaged too.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I'm also a part of this relationship.
let's-
Where's my simulator?
Let's tidy that up a tiny bit. We're not saying getting married is a bad thing.
No.
To some I've heard, they're like, don't get married.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, which is ha ha. I often say ha ha because you're clearly not with the right person. But,
Oh, yeah, whatever.
You know, or what, blah, blah, blah. But
That's neither here nor there.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, for me to put a simulator, and I've joked so many times. Like you've seen my place at the office at my place.
Yeah.
Like I've always wanted to be like, okay, when eventually we expand the house a bit, I want to raise that bit and put a sim in it.
100%.
And she's like, fuck, you don't need a sim.
I want to build a second story on my garage.
Yeah, yeah, and put a sim on
the
it. Yeah.
top.
Yeah, it's going to be 60 grand, but it's going to be 60 grand of fun.
Exactly.
But yeah, I reckon that's what I'll have to do.
Far
Because
out.
there's nothing else I would actually be able to give her. You know, what
Yeah.
more could I really
I'd have
give
to
her?
buy my missus another house. Legit. She's flat out. Like, I wanted to put the dartboard in here.
Yeah.
And she's like, nah.
No.
Garage. Go.
Yeah, well, exactly.
And I'm
It's
just like, oh God, I'd have to do a lot more than just that for a sim, I reckon. A lot more. I don't even want to begin to think.
No,
Have you got
I
a
reckon-
question?
I do. It's just in my head.
Okay,
It's
go
in
for
my
it.
head. Now, speaking of high valued stuff,
Yeah.
you said you've recently had bad days on the greens.
Yes.
And that's probably the problem. I reckon that's 90% of the problem with a lot of people, but they refuse to change that first. I notice. Would you rather spend? Nah, let's go balls deep. Would you rather spend 50 grand on a putter to always be guaranteed a one putt?
Oh, okay.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
The second you're on the putting surface, you box it.
Okay.
Or get given a putter for free, but never one putt again. You only two putt. 2 putt or 3 putt or 4 putt. Free putter of your choice. You could pick any putter you fucking want. Anything.
But I'm never one putting again.
But you're never one
So
putting
you're
again.
telling me that, yeah, but okay, so this is this is where my brain goes.
So you could choose
I've-
choose a putter that's worth 30 grand,
Yeah.
whatever that may fucking be.
Yeah.
But you never one putt with it. But
Yeah,
you've got
no.
this putter
Silly. No, I'd pay the money to one putt.
to one putt all the
Always
time.
one putt. So because
Even with a shitbox putter.
100%.
Yeah. Wow.
Give me a cricket bat. I don't care. if as soon as I put it on the short stuff, if I just got to hit it and it goes in, no matter how. If I'm aiming in the opposite direction and I know it's going in the hole.
Within reason.
Nah, that's not what you said.
Oh, fuck you, right? No, within reason. It just, no matter how you hit it, it always seems to go in the hole.
Spend the cash and one putt every bloody time.
I'd love to know what people think
Let
of
us
this.
know.
I would love to know what people think of this because do you think one putting all the time to make your golf game that much better, is that worth it?
Yeah.
Because think about it. If you hit 14 greens, bang, 14 birdies. You've just shot 58. Congrats.
Exactly.
Whereas, and you make up and down every time.
Whereas you're thinking about it, right? And at what point does it start to play on your mind where you go, well, I can't stump this to a foot because it's a 2-putt.
Yeah, facts.
Right?
But you've got a free putter of any choice. Your choice.
All right. So let's just hypothetically say I choose this putter on the table, right? But I'm never going to one putt it again. So I've now, do I start laying up to 8 feet or laying up to 15 feet or 30 feet? Hoping that I get 2 and not 3.
Really, the only way you can make birdies and shoot under par is
You've got to drive greens.
Drive a green.
And par 5s.
And put it on in par 5s in 2.
Yeah.
The ball striking will get fucking good.
Yeah. But no, I'd pay the money and take the 1-putts. Easy option.
If you didn't play scratch or better with that, I would fucking
It's literally
hurt you
paid
so
to
much.
win.
It's pay to win.
It's pay to win.
It's like those every game out there.
100%.
Ever.
Now, we also had a question from a friend of ours
Yes.
recently.
Yes.
On the back of our content creators chat last week. And our mate Luca sent us a question asking, have you got it?
No.
Oh, you don't have
I thought you had it.
I don't have
it.
it.
Oh, all right. I'll get it up. Hang on. I'll get it up.
Basically asking what we would think if there was to be like a content creators tour,
Yeah.
league.
He said, yeah. Thoughts on on like a content creation tour.
Yeah.
And like possibility of including Bryson.
100%.
Or something like that.
So my thoughts are would take heaps of time to organise.
Massive. Yeah.
You got if you wanted to do US only, then you're kind of ruling out a bunch of boys in the UK and Australia and all that kind of stuff. That whatever. It's a great question, Luca. And thank you for sending it in. But I think it's a great idea. I'd love to see it. Good luck to the person who tries to organise it. But if you could do like similar to open qualifying, where you've got a few different golf courses and people just go and play and the lowest scores win, doesn't matter. If you could tell Rick Shields and Peter Finch, go play a golf course with a scratch rating of this and a slope rating of this, whatever golf course you want, go. It's got to have those two. And then you tell Good and Quan and Grant Horvat and all that kind of all those guys and go, right, well, you got to do the same in the States.
Yeah.
Go and find a golf course with this scratch rating, this slope rating.
Within this day and this day.
Within this day and this day, shoot your scores, film it, send it in, and then like people can just make a massive 6.5 hour long video.
Just a big montage of what these guys actually
and
did.
just cut
That's
back and forth.
You know what? That's a fucking great idea. Did you just think of that then?
Yeah.
You psycho.
That's
I
honestly the
love
best.
that.
That's the easiest way to do it without getting people to fly across the world.
Yeah. You'd have to do that. If there was a content creation, there couldn't be a tour. A tour by
It'd be events.
By technicality, there has to be event after event. That's what a tour is. But you could make a content creation major or something like that. Like you see a lot of those guys, like the Good Cup Major or something like that, or making the cut series or whatever the fuck it is. Like you could do that where you have, and they did the Good Midwest Open.
Yeah,
they had a lot of the best content creators coming in and competing.
But then they also had a pro event earlier this year or late last year. Good hosted a pro event, and that's where like Sean Walsh and all those guys sort of came in, and there was like a 3 or 4 video.
Which one was that?
Oh, it was. I can't remember what it was called. It was honestly, it might have been honestly called the Good Cup, but it was a pro event.
Oh, righto.
And it was awesome. It was
like every previous pro or current pro. Yeah.
Shields has done a YouTube golf day, so got everyone to fly out to I think Manchester, and basically just hosted almost a charity day, and just gave away prizes for low scores and all that kind of shit.
I would love to see, in terms of like a content creation day, do like host this pretty decent prize money. It's a buy-in, so you know every content creator individually gets their team or gets their pairing. Okay. So, for example, the Bryan Bros.
Yep.
Like they wouldn't be a pair. Wesley would get his man, George will get his man, right? And whoever's involved in that content creation will have their partner, right? It's sort of like that Midwest Open. It's the same sort of deal.
Yep.
But instead of them all pairing up, so Garrett was with who's that basketball player? Austin Reeves.
Yeah.
So it was with that, sort of like that, but everyone chooses their best person they could possibly be with,
Yep.
and then go out and compete in that sense.
Okay.
And yeah, that's exactly sort of what that Midwest Open was, but that's all you could really do.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to go off the stick because Wesley's probably going to win the fucking thing,
Yeah.
along with George, along with Quan. He's going to smoke Garrett.
100%.
Even though Garrett's a great player,
And
you can't do it off the stick. You'd have to find that happy sort of medium.
Correct. And this is also going based on the fact that you're expecting everyone to play off scratch.
Yeah.
Not have handicaps.
Doesn't happen.
Right? Which doesn't happen because I'd imagine that Shields or somebody else, for example, might turn around and go, well, I'm not as good as these guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not really, I'll do it because it'll be fun.
Yeah.
But I'm not really going to win anything.
Yeah, but if
so
I'm gonna
how
enter-
are you going to make it fair for me to try and have a crack at winning?
Exactly.
So maybe if everyone did have a handicap
yeah.
and then was told, yeah, all right, you don't have to be in the same country.
Yeah.
But here's the 3 criteria that you need to play on a golf course that has to have these, right? Scratch rating, slope rating, and you've got to film it,
Yeah.
right? And then, like I said, send the footage off to whoever and compile it, make a
you
big
go.
fuck off video.
You could even-
Here's
you
the
could even do-
highlights.
you could
Here's the
even do-
scoreboards.
Like Good did have done a lot of videos where they don't actually they finally got their like official handicaps and stuff like
Yep.
that, where they implemented, I think, 25 rounds and it got averaged out based on the difficulty rating of some of those courses. So
Yep.
Brad was off about +5, +6, which is that's probably about
Standard.
right. Which is about right.
Yep.
It said Garrett was off +4, which good golfer, he's not off +4.
Okay.
Maybe because of the ratings of those courses, they do play hard courses and from the back generally, right? That I can sort of understand. But yeah, +4 maybe not. Scratch to +2, yeah, I'd pay that
Yeah.
because I'd had Bubby off 3 and Matt off 1, and I'm
No,
like,
I don't buy it.
nah, maybe not. Maybe because of the ratings, yes, because some of the scratch ratings were 77.
Yeah.
Maybe that, yeah, maybe, but yeah, they could do that tee box handicapping that they're doing.
Yeah.
So something like that where, Rick Shields, for example, he plays from just a standard members tees, whereas Brad put him off the fucking tips,
Yeah.
right? But that's off scratch. Rick might shoot 1 under off front tees or close to front tees, and Brad shoots 2 from the tips. There you go. It's even
pretty
out
close,
because
yeah.
Brad's significantly better than Rick is. But there's that sort of tee box handicapping. Same with put Steve off the front, put Matt off the front, put
Yep.
Bubby off the front, put Mo a tee box back, put Garrett a tee box back again. So that sort of stuff that you could probably do, and that would
100%.
be very, very intriguing because Steve might shoot even off the front tees or women or whatever it is off the front tees. He might shoot even, and yeah, Garrett shoots even from this second
to
tee box
back.
from the back.
Yep.
And there you go, it's evened out again.
There you go. I rate it. I rate it a lot. It'd be really cool to see something. I don't know what you're gonna.
I like that video idea.
I don't know what you're gonna get. I don't know if you'll ever get it. I know there's a lot of talk about it. Everyone wants to do it because it's the one area that hasn't been explored yet. Everyone wants to be the first to get in. It's just trying to figure out how to get the best people in the same place at the one time.
Oh, it's getting everyone to speak. It's getting everyone to agree at the same time too.
Yeah.
Like it's getting
Agree to a place, time, and then who gets the rights to the content.
yeah, facts. Because like that content's gonna go boom.
Boom.
Right? Like do you split it up between 6 to 8 channels and put an hour on each channel or something like that? Because I know if that did happen, backing on that, if they all wanted rights to it, like all those views make some money. Essentially, that's why they do it. That's why they have so many views, and that's why
Correct.
they make the content they do because it's income for them. That's their job. So if something like this is going to get 12 million views, well, the guys that participated are getting fuck all. So yeah, that's actually a good point. It's a really good point.
But yeah, no, look, I thank you. Awesome. That was awesome. Great question. And I hope we've done some justice in answering it. And honestly, mate, I think that's a really good spot to leave it.
Let's go.
Let's call
go.
it there. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching and listening. If you do one or the other, please have a crack at the other one as
Absolutely.
well. If you listen on
Absolutely.
Spotify, watch us on YouTube and vice versa. Be sure to check out our TikToks.
This is for sale, $1 million. Just gave the camera a death stare.
You're an idiot.
Nah, I'm kidding.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, ladies and gents. Be sure to check us out on TikTok and Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. Please do like and subscribe. Helps us out immensely. You will never understand. Thanks for all your feedback as always. Be sure to send us some more questions from the second cut. Share it with all your mates. Hit them very, very well. And we will see you all next week. Cheers.